People say French food is some of the most rich, the most decadent cuisine on the planet. So today we're going to put that theory to the test with a full day of eating, full day of training here in Marseille, France. How I stay in shape, if I'm going to be blowing up at the end of this trip, we're going to put it to the test. I don't have too much food in my house, so we're just making breakfast at home, and the rest is probably going to be eating out. So that's going to be even a little bit more difficult to see if we can keep our protein high, our calories low, and have a full day of eating. So let's get into it. All right, welcome, bienvenidos back to the Lifting Nomad. My name is Alex, and today we are having a full day of eating and training here in Marseille. And it's funny, like my nutrition really doesn't change that much. Like if you're new to this channel, I pretty much just travel full time, stay in different cities in different countries, and I pretty much just eat and train and go out. That's basically all I do with my life. I take Spanish classes, and I have a little bit of like side hobbies outside of that, but for the most part, that's the basics of what I do. And pretty much everywhere I am, no matter where in the world, I eat more or less the same thing for breakfast. My lunches don't really change that much. Right now I'm making my breakfast sandwiches, which usually contain like a bagel, or if I can't find bagels, I have English muffins here in France, which is funny. Or ideally, like I like bagels the best. If you can't get bagels, then like low calorie toast. The only thing that really changes is the type of lunch meat that I use for my breakfast sandwiches. And here in Marseille, I found this bad boy. Hopefully it's clear enough so you can see it. I don't really know what this is in English, but it kind of looks like prosciutto, and the macros on it are absolutely diabolical. So I'm gonna have my calories up on the screen for my breakfast here, which is gonna be 2 English muffins, a full portion of this lunch meat, 2 pieces of low-fat cheese, and then a little bit of hot sauce on top. But the macros for this breakfast meat are absolutely absurd. For 100 grams of this, it's 154 calories, 2 grams of fat, and 34 grams of protein. 34 grams. So this was a little bit expensive. I'll give you that. It's a little bit pricey. I'm only here for a week, so it's not such a big deal. But to have that for a breakfast option is truly crazy. That's so much. That's like almost a full chicken breast in this little package. So yeah, gonna make these 2 breakfast sandwiches, muck them, and then we're gonna head to the gym. Today's gonna be a chest day. I did finally find a good gym here in Marseille, so we're gonna go hit that up. I'm not sure if they allow filming, so we're gonna go find out and see what they say. All right, just finished 45 minutes on the spin bike, an hour of like a push day here at this fitness park, and I'm gonna walk out and show you, but I didn't realize this is the same brand of gym that was in Valencia and Spain when I was there. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, this was still like the best gym in this neighborhood. They had everything from squat racks to benches to cables, pretty much everything you would need. So you can see, like, yeah, they had pretty much every kind of machine you would want. Like I said, the day pass was a little bit more expensive than I would have liked. It was 15 euros. I think it was 60 euros for a monthly pass, which would make more sense if you're here like a day or longer. But yeah, definitely worth it. And overall, just like a good gym. Yeah, that's chest day done, cardio done. Gonna head back to the flat, get some food, and then cardio done. It's like another beautiful day. I think I'm gonna try and head to the beach. I think today might be the day we actually finally get the Blue Bays as well. So I'm gonna meet up with my friend in a little bit here. She's staying on the beach side, so I'm gonna head over there, see what we can find for lunch. So I'm gonna go home, shower, change, and then see you on the way there. One thing that does make me laugh about being in all these European cities is like how less car reliant they are. Like my apartment, I'm staying in the old port, and I just walked to the beach, which was like a 15-minute walk. But pretty much like all of North America is designed around cars, right? So obviously like there's cars all around me and I'm on a road, but you don't need one. And there's like good bike infrastructure. The sidewalks are all huge. Everything is like within walking distance of wherever you're staying. And it makes such a difference in the livability and I think like quality of life. Like I average, 15,000 steps, and that's living in Toronto where I can walk everywhere. But like living here, it's so normalized to just walk everywhere. I think like on average, the average American gets like 3,500 steps a day or something like that. The average European gets more than double that. I think it's 8,500. And it just makes like such a big difference here.
your overall like calorie consumption for the day, because you're just burning so much more energy just like living instead of only like sitting in your car and like going to the gym, you know. And it adds up over time. All right, for lunch, we headed over to the Faro district. This is Plage de Catalan, to a place called Chez Michel, which is consistently ranked as one of the best, if not the best, bouillabaisse in all of Marseille. And given that bouillabaisse is from Marseille, that means it's some of the best bouillabaisse in the world at this place, Chez Michel. So if you are visiting, I definitely recommend coming and check this place out. It's very old school. They like carve the fish table side. You get this delicious hearty broth right at the table. The owner came over, introduced himself, didn't speak a lot of English, but we still got to chat with him. And just from the colors and the brightness of this, you can tell like it is some of the freshest fish ever from the market this morning, and then put together with this like kind of saffron fish sauce. I ended up spilling the shit out of this all over my clothes, so probably don't wear white, but yeah, 10 out of 10, absolutely delicious. So I've just finished meal number 2 of the day. I had bouillabaisse, had it at Chez Michel, apparently one of the best in all of Marseille. Couldn't really find like the exact calories, so I'm just estimating based off of a few different ones on MyFitnessPal. So around like 550 calories for that. Walked back from Chez Michel to my apartment. So all in over like 10,000 steps to get there and then get back to my flat. So quite a lot of calories just burnt already. Now I'm gonna pop around the apartment for a couple hours before meal number 3, then do another walk at the end of the day. We're already like well over 10,000 steps, so it's gonna be a lot of like neat calories to begin with. So yeah, we'll see what it ends up looking like by the end of the day.
Honestly, it does kind of make me laugh when people like some of the comments on like travel influencers, like, I don't know what to eat to stay in shape when I'm traveling. And it's like, I pretty much just eat the same thing no matter where I am in the world. So meal 3, I'm back in the apartment now, did a little bit more of a walk, called my mom, as you should as well, see how she's doing. Meal number 3, I got these they don't really have ground beef the same way, like at least from this grocery store I went to, not the same way as they would back home. They're in these like little pucks. Like almost individual burgers. And then looking at the calories is 280 grams for 2, and in 100 grams, there's 125 calories, 5 grams of fat, 20 grams of protein. So pretty much like 25 grams of protein. I'm gonna mix that in with 2 eggs, and just make like a little bit of ground beef and eggs for dinner. This is something I pretty much just eat everywhere. Like my meals don't change that much. There's very few countries on earth, I think, where you can't get chicken breasts, where you can't get ground beef. One of the challenges I think is finding like lean ground beef. This is extremely lean, which is awesome to see. I'm having a hard time getting this stupid thing open. Yeah, this looks like I just, I don't know, pop it in here. This is extremely lean. I don't even know if I'm gonna have enough oil to cook this. But yeah, like my diet really doesn't change that much no matter where I am in the world. I'm always eating chicken, I'm always eating ground beef, I'm eating like fruits and vegetables as much as I can. And typically, like I've talked about this in other videos, my metabolism is extremely low, despite how active and how like how many steps I do, how much I train. It's just really difficult for someone like me to stay lean. It's just how it's always been. Like I've averaged 15,000 steps over the last 3 years. I am obviously pretty young. I train 5-6 times a week in the gym. I strength train, and I still have to consume like 2,000 or less calories. Otherwise, I completely blow up and I gain like a pound a week. It's pretty crazy. Now, that being said, it's important to understand your body and your metabolism, no matter where you are in the world, and adjust that accordingly. Because some people, it's going to be really difficult to stay lean, and other people, it's going to be extremely easy. It just ultimately comes down to genetics. Think back to when you were in grade school, there were kids who just naturally had like a 6-pack, obviously without ever training in their life. Maybe they played sports, maybe whatever. Ultimately, it just comes down to genetics. And typically those people who had abs from 5 to 10 years old without ever training, those are the people who grow up to, play football in high school. Then they get just absolutely jacked. Then they find the gym. Then they just look really good. It's on the contrary, it's very rare to see someone like myself, who was like a fat kid. We do get in shape, and I've seen, I'll post a picture of my most lean right here so you can see, we do get lean, but it just looks different than people who are naturally lean. It's just kind of the way it is, especially as a natural. So with that being said, this is meal number 2, 140 grams of extra lean ground beef, 2 eggs, just like a little bit of a snack to get me through. I'm gonna go for another walk after this. On the day, we're sitting just around like 1,500 calories, so I may end up just having a little bit more of this for dinner. I'm not too sure just yet, but yeah, we're gonna crush this off and then get into the rest of the day.
All right, meal number 3 is down, and honestly, I think the bouillabaisse had a lot more fat in it than I had realized. So, even though I only said it was 600 calories, like 70 grams of protein, that just seems way too high for what it would actually be. So, I'm gonna say I'm way closer to 2,000 calories than it's giving me credit for. So, just did another big walk. Feeling like I actually got some pretty good sun today, which is funny. Don't think I'll add another meal in, simply because I must be like close to like 160, 170 grams protein. But I think I just am higher in fat than I had realized. There was like a garlic butter in the bouillabaisse. Like it was a pretty heavy one compared to like, they're saying there's only like 11 grams of fat in that. It doesn't it doesn't necessarily make sense given what I ate. So gonna count that's a little bit more. So gonna finish this walk, head back to the flat, add in the totals for the day, and wrap things up from there. All right, let's put a bow on this video. So today's totals will be on screen. I'm gonna move to the side a little bit so it can get in there. But yeah, I ballparked a little bit on the bouillabaisse simply because I am in France right now and I am gonna eat out while I'm there. So I do wanna make sure I am able to do so. Totals for the day, I'd say around 1,800 calories. I know everything else other than the bouillabaisse, and I've looked online a few different articles and a few different dishes, like what people will ballpark, something like that. So I think it's pretty fair. And this is the whole point of this video, is kind of that exact same idea. It's really difficult to always be like traveling and still measuring and counting your calories down to the exact calorie. And at the end of the day, as long as you have a scale, you're measuring yourself, maybe your lifts are going up, you're making progression in some form or the other, you're feeling good, maybe you're looking better, your waist is shrinking. That's at the end of the day what matters the most. And if you're going to be traveling full time and like, going to these cool places right now, like I said, I'm in France, you're going to sacrifice having like your dream physique for the most part. It's just the reality of it, other than like just becoming like a hermit in these places, not going out to eat ever, not doing delivery. And in my mind, kind of not getting to enjoy these places. Like for me, a big part of travel is the cuisine, is the food, is going out, is getting to experience things. If I was just going to be like a hermit and like go into like bodybuilding prep where all I do is eat like meal prep and then go to the gym, like I would just stay home. There's not really a reason for me to come to France to do that and miss out on so many great things here. So that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully it was useful to see how I eat a day in France here, staying moderately in shape year round. So if it was useful, feel free to leave a like or comment in the section below. Always helps the algorithm. As always, my name's Alex. Welcome back to Lifting Nomad. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.